Would you risk your life for a burger? This world is a strange one. Oh, Burger King, the home of the flame-broiled goodness. Honestly, it's my go-to spot for burgers. But after these stories, I might have to be a bit more cautious when I partake of a whopper. Horror can happen anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're at home, in the woods, or getting some fast food. There are weird and terrible things going on all the time. There are things prowling in the night, spirits haunting their not-so-restful places, and people hunting other people. So, tonight, I have 6 true Burger King scary stories to share with you. Grab a milkshake and a taser. You can never be too safe. I want to give a quick shout-out to John B., who has graciously donated $50 to our project. For more info and to donate and get a shout-out, go to darknessprevails.org/project. Now, let's dive in. Number 1. Burger King Almost Robbed. Submitted by Clannad. I live 5 minutes away from 2 Burger Kings. When I worked cleaning cars on my own, I would walk on over to the larger one because they had a better card reader. I can't tell you how many times I couldn't pay for my food because the other Burger King's card reader would not accept my debit card. So, just to play it safe, I always went to the one I dubbed the Good Burger King. Anyway, I walked on over at the end of my short workday, enjoying some podcasts through my headphones. It should be noted that even though this fast food joint was right on the shoulder of the main road through town, I literally never saw anyone else in there save for me and the employees. I guess it was bad timing. On the day in question, I ordered my usual bacon-filled meal and took a seat in the back corner. It was my favorite spot because the employees and anyone that might walk in couldn't really notice me. Whenever I go out to eat, I really don't like to be bothered. Now this is when someone else actually walks in. Right off the bat, this is curious, because I've never seen anyone else walk in here while I was there. He was a tall, way too thin white guy who, to be honest, looked like he just finished shooting up. He was very pale, sweaty, and agitated. I watched the guy from my spot very cautiously. He goes up to the counter with his left hand hovering over his lower back, and he's shaking like crazy. As I look closer, I realize this guy has something hidden under his shirt. And that's when a feeling of danger comes over me. This guy was so sketchy to begin with, but now he had something to hide. The cashier asked what he would like, and I kid you not, this guy gropes the thing that's under his shirt and starts shaking more. Then I can hear him stutter like he can't figure out what to say. After a few seconds of watching the poor cashier being creeped out, the guy slams his right hand on the counter and just says, "Give me a number 2. His hand stops shaking, and he finally lets go of the thing under his shirt. He stands there, arms crossed and shaking his head constantly, waiting for his food to come out. And when it does, he yanks the food from the employee's hands and walks away. I hear the employee get mad and cuss at him, but the guy just takes his tray and walks away. His eyes are closed and he's shaking his head no for some reason. He walks right toward me. I start to get a bit nervous, kind of ducking down in a desperate attempt to not be seen by this weird guy. But his eyes are still closed and he turns left, somehow managing to sit across the way without ever opening his eyes. He sits there, kind of angled away from me. And when he sits down, his back arches forward, and his shirt arches up, so I get a good look at whatever he's hiding under his shirt. It was a black handgun. Now in any other situation, I would be okay with this. Where I live, plenty of people have concealed carry permits. If you were looking, you could probably spot a few people with their concealed carries here and there. I'm not sure if that means they aren't concealed enough or what, but in this case, this guy was a problem from the start. He seemed very combative when he ordered, like he was looking for any reason to complain or have a problem with the people behind the counter. Not to mention he looked freaking drugged out of his mind, shaking all over. But what freaked me out the most was how he was grabbing at the gun when he was at the counter. He had his hand on it from the start like he was planning something. I guess he changed his mind. Thank God. Freaked out, I could not help but continue to watch this guy. I mean, I didn't feel safe. For all I knew, he could pull that gun out any second and start blasting people away. From my perspective, I could see the side of his face just barely. And after a few moments of not being able to eat my food, I saw the guy's shoulder kind of jutting up and down. I looked closer, and it looked like the guy was crying. He wasn't touching his food at all, he even brought his hands up and covered his face. That was it. At that point, I decided it was time to go. I picked up my stuff, dumped my leftovers in the trash, and headed for the exit. But before I walked out, I looked toward the guy one last time. He was still sitting there, but now he was staring right freaking at me, eyes all red and puffy and watery. Immediately, I looked away, walked out, and I never went back there. Sadly, for all my future Burger King ventures, I would be going to the so-called bad Burger King. I don't know what was wrong with that guy, but if he had a change of heart about what he was planning to do with that gun, I'm glad. I just hope I never see him again. Number 2. Never going back to Burger King. Submitted by Tamor. I live in Calgary, Canada, in a little apartment. Like most people, I enjoy going out and chilling with my friends. Usually we talk, see a movie, go out to eat, just have fun. But this night was far from what I expected. My friend had a hankering for Burger King at the moment, so we decided to head on over. The experience occurred recently, and of course, all of this creepy clown business was going on, so we had our guards up. To be safe, we went to the closest one we could find. We made it there pretty quick, without a hassle. We ordered our food and sat down. The table we chose was close to the window towards the back edge. While we were eating, just out of the corner of my eye, I saw movement. Being at Burger King, I didn't think any more than it just being another patron coming inside to enjoy a meal like we were. But as instinct would have it, without a thought, I looked towards the movement. And that's when I saw something very worrisome. Outside stood a figure that was all black, or was wearing a black sweater. Whatever it was, they were hard to see at night. They stared at me, or were at least facing my exact position. I then turned toward my friend to see if he was looking at the figure as well, but he was staring down at his phone while munching on fries. So I turned back quickly to watch this strange person, only to see that they were gone. I was seriously spooked. I was very creeped out. This wasn't something I could just shake off. Someone was there 1 second, and then they were gone the next, gone like they were never there in the first place. Was I just seeing things in the dark outside? I tried my best to finish eating. As I was just finishing up my meal, I went to the bathroom to clean my hands. I always do this after eating, because I hate the feeling of sticky or dirty hands. I turned off the faucet and go to the paper towel dispenser to dry myself off when my vision starts to blur. Then everything goes black. When I came to, I'm standing at the entrance to the bathroom, facing the restaurant lobby. Except now all the lights were off. The place looked closed. Everyone was gone, even my friend that I had come with. All of the cars in the parking lot were gone as well. Why did he leave me? Did nobody check the bathroom? I started to panic. I started to laugh nervously, which was odd because I was never the type to make nervous laughter. It took me a few moments to see that the figure from earlier was now standing in the middle of the lobby. He, or it, was coming right at me. Horrified, I ran back into the bathroom. I know I should have run out of the door, but I wasn't thinking straight. You'll understand why in a few seconds. Back in the bathroom, I was hit by a distinct, disgusting smell. It smelled like something had died and rotted in there. Suddenly, loud banging and scratching erupts from all around me, and at this point, I'm crying. Then the swinging door to the bathroom flies open, and I'm waiting there, petrified, expecting something to come in. But everything goes black again. I woke up on the bathroom floor with my friend over me. He looked worried. He told me I had been passed out for a few minutes, and when I looked around, all the lights were back on. That weird smell was gone, the crazy noises were gone, and as we exited the bathroom, I noticed that everything in the lobby was normal and it was still open. The next day, I went right away to visit the doctor. I was very worried because I had never fainted like that before. I don't know what happened to me the night before, but after that experience, I won't be going back for a while. The doctor told me that it could be caused from blood rushing back to my head too quickly, and I do kind of remember feeling a bit lightheaded a few moments before I blacked out. But still, that does not explain the figure I saw when I was completely aware and awake sitting at that table eating my food. Number 3. Haunted Burger King. Submitted by Shudder. So this isn't exactly my story, but it's my boyfriend's. He works at a Burger King a block or two from our house and has told me of multiple accounts in which weird things have happened. For background info, he works early morning shifts before the sun has a chance to come up, which only makes this account creepier. One time, another worker there thought she saw a little girl at the back of the kitchen. Thinking some kid sneaked behind them, she went to go over and check who it was. But when she got there, she didn't see anyone. The little girl was gone. Since then, there's been multiple times where the cups would fly out at the employees, or things have been knocked down from the shelves. Sometimes the workers' names get called out to them from the very back of the building where the storage closet is. But if they go back to investigate, to see who's calling for them, there's nobody ever there. But the voice always comes in the form of another coworker. A fairly recent one was when my boyfriend was working in the freezer area. He heard the loudest noise, as if metal pipes had fallen. When he went to go check it out, there was nothing on the ground. He couldn't think of anything in the world that could have made that sound, and it spooked him out for the rest of his shift. There's been multiple sightings by different people of a little girl hiding behind the soda aisle in the middle of the dining area, or somebody catches a glimpse of her around the corner. But by far the creepiest thing to happen, in my opinion, is that one of the employees started catching glimpses of a little girl at their own home, as if the entity itself that's been haunting the restaurant has followed him home. That would be terrifying. Number 4. I used to be a manager at Burger King. Submitted by Megan Nagisa. I used to be a manager at my local Burger King. Now, some background on me before I start. I am 23 and I am a transgender male. I was working late one night, moving the cash, taking out the trash, etc. I was organizing the papers we had on the front desk when I heard the ping of the drive-thru window. This happens to alert us when someone's in the drive-thru. So I looked out the window and I saw no one there. I went out and inspected it, and there was nothing that could have caused it. That was weird. It kind of freaked me out, and I went back inside. But again, not too long after, I heard the ping. I decided to look out via the camera this time, and that's when I saw a sort of transparent black mass. And I won't lie, I screamed. I immediately ran out of the building. Cautiously, I peeked around the corner to the drive-thru. Whatever had been there, if anything, it was gone. I slowly walked inside, and I was shocked to see that all, and I mean all of the cash registers were open, and the papers that I was just organizing were all over the floor. Then, about a week later, I was working late again, and it was all normal until I went home and took a shower. In the shower, I found 3 large scratches across my shoulder, leading onto my chest. I didn't remember getting those scratches. I never felt anything in that area. I will be honest and say I quit the next day. I did not want to find out what might happen to me next. Number 5. Burger King Creature. Submitted by Chris R. This all happened when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I was with my cousin and his parents, and we were coming back from visiting his grandparents. I was starting to doze off in the car when I heard my uncle say that we were going to eat at Burger King. When we entered, I noticed that there were only 2 other people there, given the fact that it was very late. I liked it because I was never a fan of crowded places. Once we ordered our food, me and my cousin ran into the gigantic play place, which was completely empty. We ran into the tubes and started to chase each other, which was very hard considering that we had to crawl in the tubes. My cousin said he was going to go to the bathroom and that he would be right back. I stayed in the tubes and I heard him open the door to the play place and walk out. About a minute after, I started to get kind of scared because it was night and it was very dark in the tubes, not to mention that I was alone. The fear grew bigger and bigger, to the point I just couldn't take it anymore, so I started to make my way out of the tubes. As I was making my way out, I looked back and I saw something. It looked like a dog. It had pointed ears and I could see a snout. I had a mixed feeling of fear and confusion when I saw it. And when it began to move, it was only fear. It did not move like a dog. It moved like a person would, on their hands and knees. It crawled out of my view, and I was paralyzed with fear. For about a minute, I was in the same position and could not move. After realizing that there was something else in the tubes with me, I quickly crawled out. I ran to the door and swung it open, and ran to the bathroom. I told my cousin what I saw, and luckily he wasn't the type of person to look for trouble, so he didn't go back either. We ate our food and left. As we drove off, I was still thinking about what I saw, but eventually I fell asleep. I don't know what I saw that night. Was I so scared of being in there by myself that my mind started to make things up? Was something actually in there with me the whole time? Or was it just some freak with a creepy mask? Whatever it was, it still freaks me out to this day. And number 6. Hooded Monster at Burger King. Submitted by Manuel D. I just felt like I needed to say this. I did not know whether to put the story under a creature sighting or a normal true scary story experience. What I saw looked like a regular person, but the way it moved, it could not have been human. Just some backstory first. I was 16 when this happened. I am now 19. It happened after I finished up my jog. I decided to stop by Burger King that was just outside the hiking trail. When I finished eating, I exited, and before I continue on the trail, I saw something in the bushes by the building that caught my attention. It was dark, but I could make out a hooded figure. I thought it was a person at first, and I kept on walking. That is, until I heard the growling sound. It sounded like the growl of a cat, and I got kind of scared. I looked back to where I saw the person, and it was out of the bushes and on the trail, just staring at me. I froze in fear. After what felt like an eternity, it finally turned around and walked off. And that's when I realized what I just saw could not be human. It did not run like a person. First of all, it didn't run on 2 legs, but on all 4. It was also very fast, and it jumped on a tree and it climbed up the trunk until it was out of my view and hidden in the leaves. I quickly and cautiously made my way back to Burger King. I told one of the employees what I saw, and luckily they let me stay there for a while. I don't know how to describe that creature. It looked like something from Left 4 Dead, but 100 times more terrifying. I don't think I'm going to be going back on that trail for a while. Nothing is going to stop me from getting a delicious grilled bacon cheeseburger from Burger King. But I can't deny, simply stepping out of my home for a moment could put me in danger. It's no different for anyone. You could be enjoying your food in the false safety of a restaurant, when the next thing you know, there's red liquid pouring from your throat and a strange person standing behind you. Good night. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks.